All right. Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks, Craig.
My name's Craig. This is My Way Archery. We are here with
Derrick Duke,
Derrick Dukes.
BowTruck Archery.
That's right. We are here in the shop. Sweet shop, by the way.
Thank you.
This is a nice little setup.
Yeah, it's taken a while to get it built. We built the house with no garage or nothing. So
Yeah.
we had weed eaters and cars and all sorts of stuff on the porch. And so we eventually got around to building a garage.
This is nice. And you've actually got your archery shop in here. So this is really cool. So,
Yeah, we got kind of the corner of the bay over there dedicated to only archery. So it's kind of right as you walk in and you pull into the drive.
yeah, that's cool. So I know you just got back from Tennessee TAC. So kind of talk about it. Like exactly where was it in Tennessee?
So it's in Belvedere, Tennessee, which is kind of in the middle of nowhere. It's just over the Alabama line
Yeah.
on the south side, close to Winchester, Fayetteville, pretty close to Chattanooga.
Okay.
But it's kind of the foothills of the Appalachians, so it's pretty hilly in some spots.
Really?
Um,
But no, so you guys are in the kind of the foothills of the Appalachians, Tennessee.
yep.
A lot of mountains, I'm assuming.
Yeah, so when you drive into Belvedere, when you come in from the north, from the Winchester side, it's very flat. And you're like,
Yeah.
oh, this is going to be a pretty easy shoot. And then right before you get to the Circle Lee Guest Ranch, you do a big switchback up a mountain.
Oh wow.
And so there's some pretty good hiking there that you wouldn't expect.
Is this the first time you've been to this particular place?
No, I started TAC at Belvedere in 2018. So
Okay.
it's been about 8 years.
So they've continually had it at the same place?
Yeah, except with the exception of last year, they went to a location in Georgia. I think it
Okay.
was Iron Mountain or something like that.
Yeah.
Which it was a good location. Parking was tough, but it just poured down rain. That was 2 years ago because it poured down rain in Georgia with all the red clay on Iron Mountain and just red clay everywhere. And then last year in Belvedere, it poured down rain as well. And
Yeah.
it was a mud pit in the parking lot. They had to get out a tractor, pulling out trucks and all sorts of stuff.
Oh my gosh.
So luckily we had great weather this year. It was
Yeah.
nice and cool. In years past, it's also been about 102. So it was nice and cool, sunny. It was great.
Yeah, I saw looked like some of the pictures people had posted on Facebook and stuff, and it looked like they were in long sleeves.
Oh yeah.
I guess in the mornings maybe it was cool,
Oh yeah.
but yeah, that was good. All right. So how many others as far as Tennessee, how many have you particularly shot?
So I've shot the first year they always did it in Snowbird in Utah. There's like a famous like vertical downhill shot in Snowbird. So I was like, I want to go do Snowbird.
Yeah.
And they told you to bring 24 arrows, just because you're going to lose so many. And when I went to register, it was the first year they switched to Park City. I was like, oh man, we're not going to get to go to Snowbird. But Park City was awesome. We got to stay, at the lodge, like at the ski resort. And
Right.
so they had a big RMEF convention, like right at the lodge. And we walked down and jumped on the ski lift and just went up and started shooting. So,
Oh wow.
so we got to do Park City. And then I've done Michigan a couple times too.
Yeah.
So we have some family up there, and we got to stay. I found out the Michigan TAC was like 45 minutes or 30 minutes away from our family place in Michigan. So
Oh, wow.
I asked my wife, I was like, "You want to go to Michigan?" She's
Yeah.
like, "Sure." So the kids came with me. We did a bunch of hiking. We hiked like I think 45 miles in 5 days, and
Wow.
the kids didn't shoot at all, but they hiked all the courses with me.
Wow. So they were able to keep up then.
Oh yeah, it was great. And you don't think about that part of Michigan being very hilly either, but it's enough for a ski slope, and you had to take a ski lift up and everything.
Oh wow.
So it was a good time.
So the ones that you've shot, do you have like a favorite so far?
Park City was pretty great. Some of the courses were pretty treacherous. So
Yeah.
like at one point, I think you were like side hilling on loose shale, trying to get to your target.
So
you
the
know,
hardest as far as like footing.
yeah, it was pretty tricky. There was a ton of people, but It was really, really cool sights, really, really cool shots. Yeah, so I can't recommend those. There's a couple Salt Lake ones now. I can't recommend those Utah ones enough.
Yeah.
I really want to go to Montana to Big Sky.
Right.
We booked it one year, and COVID hit,
Right.
and so everybody was saying not to go anywhere. So I canceled our flights. I canceled our lodging. And when I talked to the guys at TAC after, I think it was the next year, they're like, "Man, you should have come. There was nobody there. It was great."
Oh, wow.
So maybe one day I get to get a Big Sky.
Yeah.
I hear Seven Springs is great. It's apparently one of the biggest ones.
Now, is that Pennsylvania?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, I hear that one's awesome. I got a last minute chance to go to that one year and couldn't make it. And then I heard Vermont is also a really, really good one.
Oh, wow. So have you got where would be your bucket list one to go to?
Big Sky.
Big Sky.
And then maybe the one in South Dakota. I don't even know if they're doing that one this year. I haven't looked it up.
Oh, really?
But that one's supposed to be really awesome too.
Okay. Now, how many days when you went to Tennessee, how many days did you guys shoot?
So generally I like to do 2 days, and I do 2 courses a day.
Okay.
So, and then by the end of that second day, I'm pretty smoked. When we get a little older now, so we did 2 courses the first day, and then took our time on another course on the second day.
Right.
So we did 3 courses.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But we didn't do the hardest hike.
Yeah.
There's one on the backside at Belvedere that I think some of the guys said it took them about 6.5 hours.
Really?
Yeah, and I don't want to say it's like 6 miles ish somewhere in there, but it's some pretty treacherous hiking too. So.
Oh, wow.
Funny story. First time I ever went to TAC in 2018, my wife went with me, and I thought it was going to be really easy hiking. You take a shot on flat ground, you go pull your arrow, you hike 15 yards to your next shot,
Right.
go pull your arrow. And so I did squats the day before. I did not hydrate. I brought a little pack with me. I think I had a little tiny water bottle.
Yeah.
And we did it as our second course that day because we'd only registered for one day.
Right.
And I cramped up so bad on the course. There's the second half of the course, you're kind of walking uphill a lot. And whatever, guess it's your quad or something, whatever helps you pick up your leg, that muscle that comes across your thigh,
Yeah.
would cramp every time I lifted my leg going up that hill. So I was not prepared that first trip.
Oh, man. Wow. So you did a total of 3 courses. Now, I've never shot a TAC, so I would be total newbie to it.
Yeah, it's fun because you kind of can make it what you want to make it. It's not, there's no winner.
Right.
Obviously, most people that go with a group are competitive with each other, so they're keeping score together.
Kind of amongst themselves, I guess.
If you don't like a shot, you can step to the left, step to the right. If, a lot of people shoot a trad bow. When I was in Park City, there was a bunch of 95-yard shots. Well, there's a guy in front of us with a trad bow. So
Really?
everybody in his group would shoot their shot, and then he'd walk up to 20, 30, whatever he felt comfortable with, and take his shot.
Yeah.
And it's nice for kids as well because, if there's a kid in the group, everybody takes their shot, and then they go walk up to whatever distance that kid wants to shoot. He takes his shot, they go retrieve, and they keep going. So
Right.
it's pretty nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know now you're married, you got kids. Did you take your family this time?
Not this time. We have so much youth sports going on right now.
It's busy.
Yeah. My buddy came and met me, and we kind of just hightailed it out of there.
Yeah.
But I think I had to get back for a soccer game that day,
I got
if
you.
I remember correctly. But they've gone with me in the past. My wife, when we went to Utah, I was like, "Hey, do you want to go to TAC in Utah?" And at first she was like, "I don't want to go do that." And she's like, "Wait, you're not going to Utah without me." So that's the whole reason she went. She didn't want to get left behind.
Yeah.
But the kids are shooting their bows more and more, and I hope to get them to shoot it next year for their first time. So.
Do you see a lot of families?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
I've never been, so I don't
Oh
know.
yeah,
So.
you'll run into a lot of mom and dad and kids all shooting together on the course. It's pretty cool.
Oh, neat. So how would it feel to have you one day have your kids or your family shooting? Would that be?
It'd be awesome.
Wouldn't it be?
I wouldn't even shoot. I just let them shoot. But no, it'd be really cool just to have them get excited about it and get excited about making good shots and focusing, being able to actually focus on the target and focus on the task at hand without being distracted by a phone or, you're just walking through the woods, shooting targets. So
absolutely. And that's what I think archery's, it's all about. It's about, especially if you can share it with your family, your kids and your wife or whoever. And, when I get out in the yard, man, I forget about the world and just get out there because it's just you and the target, and,
that's what I tell people is like mental yoga.
Yeah.
You have to clear your mind because we used to keep our bows at the office and we had a little target set up out back. And if we got time between meetings or, if you just needed a break, say, hey, you want to go shoot? And so you can't be thinking about work. You can't be thinking about a meeting. You can't be thinking about anything else. If your mind wanders, your shot's going to wander. So
right.
It's an immediate feedback.
100%. Yeah. No, I'm the same way. I can't, I shoot competitive, with the ASA and here local with the BHA organizations. And, my shooting, I can't, if I got stuff in my head, it's a bad day. So
No
I
doubt.
totally get it. So tell me what is your setup for like when you shoot TAC? What are you running?
So I have a couple different bows. I was running for the first two courses, I ran my Elite carbon bow.
Yeah.
Is that the
Eon? Okay.
The one from last year. I killed a really nice deer with it this year. And I got it with the Ultra Premier 166.
Yeah.
I tried some TAC driver vanes, but I stuck with the AAE vanes I've been using for a while, the hybrid vanes, and they do an amazing job steering those arrows.
Right.
And I was able to get a lot of distance out of my arrows without any issue.
Right.
This is Scooby Duke. He's coming to say hello. And I think I put one in the 10 ring on the giant moose at 107 yards without an issue. So it performed very, very well. I've got a CBE adjuster sight on there that was very easy to get tuned in with the setup.
Yeah.
And I got the Elite QAD rest on there, which did great.
Is that a single pin on your sight?
So I like to run a 3-pin.
3.
Just because it's kind of a hybrid setup for me, right? So I don't have to worry about retuning or getting a different tape or anything between hunting.
Right.
So I have a 3-pin mover that I just use for everything.
I got you. Okay. Did you run into any issues as far as length
No.
of shooting?
No, I think previous years they've had like a crazy shot at like 123 over a lake or something. I think the longest shot I took was that 107. So,
okay.
In the past, you go with a pin at like 60 or something, like my first trip to TAC, I didn't know how long those shots are going to be.
Yeah.
So I had a pin for 60 and, so when you get to those longer shots, you aim with your bubble, just pray for the best.
That's right.
But over time, I focused more on maybe more speed out of the bow, maybe a lighter arrow, maybe a different sight setup just to try to get more clearance, literally just for TAC training.
Right.
But I will say that effort, even just focusing on TAC, that effort of putting all that thought into my setup had made me such a better shot when I was hunting.
Yeah. 100%.
They like to mess with you. They like to put the target, they'll put the vitals like right next to a tree.
Yeah.
So even though you can see the rest of the target, that 10 ring and 12 ring is right next to a tree, and you'll see arrows just lined all up in that tree. If people are trying to go for that 12 ring, it's pretty great.
Oh, that's neat. So how long do you, when you start, you've known about this one's coming. How far out do you start practicing and getting your gear ready to go? Or how much time do you dedicate to it?
So, deer season in Alabama stops on February 10th.
Right.
And so I generally will practice with my hunting setup for another couple weeks, and then I'll focus on making sure it's tuned for TAC. This year I didn't get to I made sure my bow was set up for TAC this year, and then because of kids sports I didn't have a whole lot of time.
Right.
And so actually week the week before TAC, I think I finalized my setup this year.
And I think that's like most everybody. I mean, especially it's got kids and families. I mean, you just, you throw you hunting, you change your hunting bow and get it ready for TAC. You start getting out and shooting some long range stuff,
You'll meet a lot of people, and that's what's so great about TAC is everybody's in the same boat. You'll meet a lot of people that they just got a new sight or they just put their sight tape on yesterday.
Yeah.
So there's a practice range there, so you can go test your setup before you go out. There's a guy this year, I think it was on our first course, on the second or third target. He's tinkering with his sight, and his buddies are going to pull arrows. And I was just joking with him, like, man, you blaming the sight already? He said, nope. Dial Archery was in the vendor village, and they actually rebuilt my sight this morning.
Oh, wow.
I only was able to spend about 10, 15 minutes on the range before coming out here, before our knock time. So
yeah,
they do knock times kind of like tee times.
Right.
And so he's like, I just ran on the course and just kind of figured it out as we go. So everybody's kind of in that boat, trying to make sure they're tuned, and so they don't lose too many arrows on the course.
That's the way our ASA competitions are. You'll see people there. We have a shooting time that whatever class you're in shoots at a specific time, and there'll be people out getting their sight tapes on or changing. I mean, I know I've been there, myself, but yeah, they're getting their stuff ready. So it's very similar. Do you see yourself ever wanting to shoot competitive as far as the organizations like the ASA or BHA?
Yeah, I would love to do more of it. If we weren't so involved with kid sports right now. My kids are 8 and 10, so
it's
that's
tough.
a big part of our focus. I would love, where we live, they actually have a archery, kind of a rec archery team, and then which goes up through the school as well. And so I really would like to get them involved in that.
Right.
And kind of transition and do more of those ASA shoots and stuff.
Yeah.
But
now tell me, so you're here this is Chelsea, Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
So how did they go through the school? Do they have the shoot in the school programs or?
Yeah, so the school has an archery team. I think that they just compete in the NAP. It's NAP.
NASP?
NASP, yeah. And the scholastic programs. I think they compete in a lot of those tournaments around the state. But there's a guy here, local Phil Carter, that does a great job coaching kind of a youth program. So I think they have to be like 9 years old to start, somewhere around there. Because my son was too young to start this year.
Oh, really?
But I think once they get to 9 or 10, Phil will help coaching them and getting them ready.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they do any tournaments with that youth team or not, but they do Phil does a great job coaching them, getting them ready for that archery team.
Yeah, I've been up there a time or two, and I've seen him out there with the kids. He and Tammy both do a wonderful job with them. So that's always nice having an archery program or somewhere close you can kind of get them in, get good instructions and stuff like that, and get them started. So
thank you, Scooby. Here, I'm not gonna throw it because you're gonna want to go get it.
So I've never I've never been to a TAC. So what advice could you give me? Because I know a friend of mine, Joey and Tucker, have shot. They went and shot this last time in Tennessee. And if I went with them, or any of you guys, if I hooked up and went with you, what advice would you tell me or give me that I could make sure I'm ready to go? Because I hate to go out there with, hunting setup, 20, 30, 40, 50-yard pins. I want to know, what is it that a new guy or new person could go out there, and what do they need to really get started?
So that's the beauty of TAC, is you can shoot any setup, because they have courses they have shorter shot courses and they have longer shots. And so even if you wanted to shoot it with a hunting setup and you have fixed pins, they have some shorter shots they're still difficult shots, but they might be 20 to 50 yard shots.
Yeah.
So if you're not able to purchase a new sight solely for TAC, I mean, there's still an opportunity for you. Or you, like we talked about before, if you get to a point where a shot's too far, you can simply walk up and take a shot.
Right.
I would be prepared for 100-yard shots, 110-yard shots,
Yeah.
if you're willing to take them. Because I think my first couple TACs, I only had a pin for 95. I was shooting a lower poundage bow with really heavy arrows, my hunting setup.
Right.
And I think I had a pin for 80 one year. I had a pin for 95 one year. I think when we were in Utah, I think I had a pin for 95, and it was the full-size moose across the lake at like 123 yards.
Yeah.
And I just aimed with my bubble at the top of the back and let her fly. I think I gut shot him, and I was super excited.
Yeah.
So I would make sure you're able to have a pin for at least 100 yards would be a recommendation.
How light of an arrow do you typically run for TAC?
So I've switched with the ultras to more of about 485 grains.
Yeah.
My hunting setup, I use a lot of FMJs and stuff for my hunting setup, and so those are a little bit heavier. I'm a 30-inch draw, so they're a little bit heavier. But with my 70-pound pull, 30-inch draw, with about a 480 grain arrow, I'm able to really have plenty of room on my sight to get over 100 yards. So
Okay. So you're not worried about it then, really?
no, I haven't been. Not with the later sights. Like the sights the last 5 and 8 years for the hunting side, I think so many more people are shooting TACs and shooting more recreational 3D shoots that those adjustable sights and the technology there is really helping.
Yeah, I was going to say that it's neat seeing, or at least my opinion is, you're starting to see some of these companies start adapting, to a TAC style shoot, and that's really neat. How it's moving the industry as a whole, especially with the sights and stuff. And of course with the lighter arrow setups, you're beginning to see more of.
Yeah.
I think is really cool. I've been seeing some of these, some of the scopes actually with the bubbles up on top.
Oh yeah.
So
Yep. I think Dialed Archery is one of those too.
really, I think Dark Archery maybe, or something I saw anyway. It was some of them. I think maybe the Spot Hogs, maybe.
Yeah.
Some of those are beginning to start changing. And that's,
The non-archery related for TAC, I would tell you to get rest, hydrate, do not do squats the day before,
yeah,
and bring snacks.
I got you. How many arrows, like, how many would you, because you're more advanced for the TAC style shooting, how many arrows do you take?
I would say to bring 12 to 18.
Yeah.
Depends on what courses you shoot. If you're able to register for one of the longer distance courses, and you're planning on taking some longer distance shots, I would bring 18 to 24.
I got you.
And when I started, I would lose, 12 to 16 to 18.
Oh.
But this last trip to Belvedere, I think the first course I lost one arrow, and I just wasn't warmed up on a very difficult shot. And the second day, I think I lost one arrow. So I lost the third because I took extremely. So there's a target that was behind some rocks, and basically the 12 ring was about an inch above those rocks. I decided to go for it, and of course, the top of the rock, my arrow just skipped on the top of that rock, went right over the target.
Yeah. Oh wow.
But I knew that going into the shot, so
yeah.
But the nice thing about TAC is it puts the pressure on you in a way that, and I haven't shot an ASA shoot, but they like to mess with you and put obstacles in your way. You have to make sure there's not a branch coming across halfway in your flight path, and sometimes you don't even see it.
Yeah.
The first guy in the group will get up there, he'll range it, he'll draw back, and he'll release, and you hear bink, and you'll look up, and there'll be a vine hanging, and there'll be 30 arrows in it.
Well.
And somehow, in the middle of the woods, you didn't see it.
Yeah.
And so, getting into a target, analyzing the shot from your footing. You might have a toe down situation or toe up, or you might have to lean. One year on the knock-on course, I think it was in Park City, you had to stand on a stump. or stand on a log to take the shot, to be able to see the target to take a shot.
Oh my gosh.
So uncomfortable footing, shot process, analyzing flight path, focusing on the small part of the target that you want to hit. You know, if there's a tree right next to it, that should not affect you, right? Because you're not trying to hit the tree, you're trying to hit the 12 ring.
But it's close.
Right. And so having that pressure on you makes you really focus on that shot.
Yeah.
And so when you come home after those shoots, I'll shoot here at the house and be like, man, these shots are easy, you know? So it just helps you become a better hunter, helps you become a better archer, with just that pressure on yourself to make a good shot and not cost you $15.
A pop, yeah. So how do you practice for those, say, steep angles? Because I'm sure you're going to see, you know, very uphill and downhill, more extreme probably than just out of your typical, you know, tree stand.
Yeah, so I'm lucky because I live on a hill basically, and so I've kind of lined my targets up down the side of the hill, and so I can kind of walk up and down the hill and get different angles.
I got you.
I also put pressure on myself. I've only got 1 or 2 targets with a backstop or an extra target underneath it. So that's another way I put pressure on myself is I'll shoot one of my targets with no backstop, no nothing, just to
see where you're at,
make myself focus.
I got you.
So I'm lucky there. I have in the past, you know, set up platforms in trees. You know, you can climb a tree, but you need to have somebody help you retrieve arrows, or else you got to come down every time. I've put like
that's what the kids are for.
Right, yeah. Hey, go get
pull my arrows, and then you make a pull-up thing.
But I've put some like stationary platforms in trees where I can just kind of climb up some climbing steps a couple feet and not go too high to where I don't have to worry about falling, but still have a good enough angle with my terrain. So I just kind of got creative there.
Yeah.
But how about you? Have you tried to do any steep angles?
No, not really. I mean, there's some where we live, you know, you might find a decent, you know, size hill or something. You can practice stuff, but not to that extreme. Most of our ASA and local shoots, you'll have some, but it's relatively flat, especially the ASA. There's not a whole lot. So I don't, you know, but an attack would be a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, the TAC shots that are interesting are the uphill ones.
Yeah.
Because I don't practice uphill shots nearly as much, mostly downhill. Yeah. And so those are always very interesting. I try to hinge at the waist and do proper form, but sometimes it's tough.
Now, I know you were mentioning some of the overlaying branches and stuff like that, different obstacles. What's neat to me is some of it, because you think, well, some people will say, well, TAC's not a very good representation of the actual hunting type setup. Mm-hmm. But some of that I kind of disagree. I mean, maybe in some of the equipment, but as far as the way you're shooting, because, you know, those shooting lanes can be tight and you may not see a branch and stuff like that. Now, granted, we're probably not shooting 100 yards, but, you know, 30, 40 yards out and it starts getting dark or early morning. Oh, yeah. You don't know what you're looking out at, really, you know.
Well, the beauty of those long shots is, you know, I wouldn't take a 100-yard shot on a whitetail. I mean, I'm not going to do it, but taking that 100-yard shot and being confident in a 100-yard shot makes a 45-yard shot seem much easier. Right. I'm not going to say it's an easy shot, especially on a live animal, but it just gets you more confident in your shot process, more confident in your ability to actually put it where you want to in that instance. So TAC has helped a lot with that, between obstacles and distance, putting you out of your comfort zone. You know, if you're shooting a bag at 30 yards on flat ground over and over again, you'll get pretty good. Mm. If you try to go hunt and it's a downhill shot with it quartering away and there's a tree right next to it, you know, it's just a whole different ballgame. And TAC does a great job, even though some of the shots, are not directly relevant to a hunting scenario. I think they're still relevant to training you for that scenario.
Yeah, no, I agree. Absolutely. All right. So you hunt, so you bow hunt.
Oh yeah.
So what is your bow hunting setup?
So I've gotten lazy. Yeah. Basically my bow hunting setup is still my TAC setup. And that's the beauty of having That's why I started running a multi-pin adjustable sight. Is I don't have to switch setups.
Okay,
In the
so you're
past,
still running the vertical
yep,
setup 3-pin.
yep.
Okay,
And so I'll set it on 20, and I can have my 20, 30, and 40, and then I can gap shoot from there.
right.
Even with the 2-pin, I've done like a 20 and a 40, and I could gap shoot 30, or I can, or even a 25 and a 40,
Yeah,
to where I hunt, in Alabama, I'm not taking very long shots on deer, so I have the ability to limit my adjustability just for hunting.
yeah,
So in the past, though, I have had a 3-4 pin setup that I used for hunting, and I would switch out to a single pin adjustable,
right.
a cheap one that I could afford, because I didn't want to have be limited to a single pin in a hunting situation.
Right.
Which now, to be honest with you, I could probably just set my single pin at 25 yards and probably be able to confidently shoot out to 40.
Yeah.
You just know how to, but you got to practice with it. Know how to know where to aim with that single pin for anywhere from 20 to 40.
Yeah.
I think Cam Haynes does that actually.
Really?
I think he sets it at 25 and 40 if I remember correctly. But lighter arrows for tack are a great idea. A lot of people go buy some cheaper lighter arrows because they know they're going to be taking shots for fun.
Right.
And they're going to lose some arrows, and they want that lighter arrow just for greater distances.
Yeah.
Which is a great idea for tack. Now, if you're hunting, I would switch back to something with a little more kinetic energy.
Right.
But I've gotten lazy in my old age.
Yeah. Well, I'm still old school as far as the hunting setup. At least right now, I like the 3, or I actually have I bought a 5-pin CBE, just the, horizontal pins. Taking one out, I think I want to do kind of more 4 pins right now. I thought about going to the 3, and I still may yet. There's a lot of time between now and October, so.
I know a guy that still shoots a 7-pin.
Really?
I don't. I picked up his
a lot.
bow and looked through the scope. I'm like, how can you see anything through here? He's like,
Yeah.
I've just been shooting it for years, and that's what I'm
Just
used
used
to.
to it. Yeah. I get that. But yeah, and I had thought about the single pin, even hunting with, I don't know. I just don't want to run into the situation to where, they move out or something like that, and then you're at a whole different, yardage at that point, and to not be sure that's kind of, it makes me nervous. I wouldn't want to take a shot and not fully be confident enough to know what the yardage was, or at least, within a few yards.
I agree. I mean, that's exactly why I switched to a multi-pin adjustable, just so I had both.
Right.
So I didn't have to worry about swapping them out.
So how long have you been hunting? Bow hunting?
Bow hunting, probably since about 2015.
Yeah.
I gun hunted growing up. I didn't really have anybody in my family that shot bows. I started after college working in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And at this company, and we had a bunch of people that were hunters and fishermen. And my boss at the time was a huge archer. And so my coworker got into it, and I started getting into it. And so that's kind of, organically my interest grew just from people I was around all the time.
Right.
So it's been about, what is that, 11 years? No, I take that back. 2012. So it's been 13 years.
Yeah.
How about you?
No, I didn't grow up hunting or anything. I don't know. I probably didn't start actually hunting until, I get out of high school, get around a buddy that hunts. He was from Pennsylvania, and kind of got started with him. My first bow, man, was a Bear Whitetail 2. And he's like, man, if you want it, you can have it. Because he never used it, and it was way too long, and I didn't know what draw length was. I took it to a shop. I live in Tuscaloosa, so I took it to a shop. I was like, man, can you get this ready? Da da da. And he got it halfway ready, so I could just play with, really. And ended up years down the road marrying, and then my father-in-law, who shot competitive archery locally, and he hunted, and I just kind of got in with him, and he was like, "Man, let's go get a real bow." And he took me to a buddy of his, and my first bow was a Matthews 32 MQ,
Yeah.
and a little solid limb bow, and I just started with that, and just shooting, and just I started shooting long distance in the yard. I think I'd get 65 yards out of my setup at the time, and just loved it. Just get out in the yard, see how far I can go,
Oh, yeah.
and just got in that way. And the kids, I had two boys at the time, and they were, I don't know, 10, 12, 13 years old. And I started taking them some. Father-in-law would take them, to the local range. And we did that for a few years. And then I ended up just with work and kids kind of getting out of it. Really just wanted to focus on hunting. So I got more out of the competitive shooting.
Yeah.
And anyway, just really started hunting and loved the bow hunting. I love being able to get close to them. I remember the first time you see a deer up close like that.
That's such a
You're
different
standing up over them.
experience.
Man,
Yeah.
it's crazy. My heart, I almost fell out of a tree stand because you're like, even a doe. I get excited
yeah.
now over a doe,
I do too.
and I mean, and I'm not one that's just shot all these trophies. I don't have like a house full of mounts and all this stuff. It's just, we eat a lot. I mean, we still eat a lot of venison now, and learn to process my own,
Yep.
through my family and stuff like that. It's taught me, and but no, I love it, and
Yeah, I've only got a few mounts, and those have only come in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
We never really. We would obviously want to hunt for a trophy, but we never really
Right.
did. But we actually ate deer tacos tonight for dinner.
Yeah.
But my family used to clean our own deer, out of necessity back in the
Right.
day. We're from Lower Alabama, and there was nothing around. There's nowhere to take it.
Yeah.
So finally, somebody opened up a processor, and of course, everybody in my family just throw the deer in the truck, take it straight there.
Yeah.
And so my wife actually has a bunch of food allergies,
Okay.
and so the processors we were going to did a great job,
Yeah.
but I just wasn't sure, what seasoning was going in. I didn't want to go to
Yeah.
this place in the middle of the woods in Alabama and say, is your seasoning gluten free?
Right.
And so we kind of organically also got back into processing our own meat just so we
Yeah.
knew 100% what was in it. So
And we did the same thing. It was, I had three kids, at one time, and we were putting up, 5 and 6 deer within a season.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just, you start going the process, especially nowadays, it gets expensive.
yeah,
And if all I got to do is just be taught, and, you get a grinder, you get a good grinder and have a few tools, and just learn it. Oh, man, I've enjoyed doing that, just processing and stuff. It is time consuming and it's not for everybody,
Yeah.
but, I still enjoy it. So,
I will say the last, our kids are younger, so a lot of times we don't get to start it until after they go to bed.
yeah,
It's a bad idea because you don't get done till like 3 a.m.
yeah,
And, your back's hurting, you're ready to go to bed.
yeah,
But no, that's also been a learning curve, do's
Yeah.
and don'ts with processing,
and it's something that too, I thought about too, and at least for the kids, because it is kind of an old school art, I think, in my opinion, because you either do it yourself or you take it to a processor. I mean, I don't know how else you would do it, but to pass that down, that knowledge
Oh yeah.
to the kids, if they're willing to do that or want to know.
Oh yeah. It's been great for them to be around it, just to see it, learn about it, and they start walking up asking questions.
Yeah.
What are you doing there, Daddy? What piece is that? And so it's been good for them to just learn it. Turkey hunting too,
Yeah,
for them to see the turkey's habitat, to see the turkeys, to then see you harvest one, to
Right.
then see you clean it, how to clean it, and correlate that to food on their plate.
right. It's a process.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
100%. It's not, you can't just, we're not going to just run to the grocery store, and I love that, just knowing where your meat's coming from.
Oh yeah.
So, but that's neat, man. So you have a shop here now. You live here in Chelsea.
Mm-hmm.
What all do you, or how long? Let me ask you, how long have you had your shop?
So I started BowTruck last March.
Yeah.
Did it full time last year. Doing it semi part time now, but I hope to get back to full time here soon and grow the shop
Right.
as I kind of get more known in the area, I guess is
Yeah.
the right way to put it.
I got you.
But so I was kind of a backstory on BowTruck is I'm a mechanical engineer by trade
Right.
and started throughout my learning process with tack and hunting, with bow hunting. I started doing more and more of my own work on my bow. Because I have trust issues, like that's why I changed my own oil in my truck.
I'm right there. Yeah.
But the other shops in the area, they did a good job, but they would get very backlogged. If you needed a string replaced or something, I mean, I've dry fired a bow before. I
Sure.
did it a week before tack one year,
Yeah.
and I was like, man, I've got to get a new string and I got to get it retuned. And so going through that process, I had to find somebody with a press because the shop was they were 4 weeks out, and anyway, so all that kind of just led me to buying a press and doing a lot of my own work. And then I started having some friends ask me to do some of their work for them. And so when I ended up leaving my job, I went and got the ATA has a great program for trad bow technician, for compound bow technician, for crossbow technician.
Really?
Yeah. And so I went and did their certification program, and they have some tests you have to take, but then you have to go do a in-person. Basically, you have to restring a bow and tune it for them within a couple hours.
Wow.
And so they put it on at ATA, but they have a couple other events where you can do it. Or that didn't work out for me. So actually, Jeff at Music City Archery up in Nashville, great guy. I called him up and said, "Hey, can I come do it at your shop?" He said, "Sure, come on." So I actually left here at like 4 a.m, drove to Nashville, met him there when he opened his shop, and took the test. Everything went great. Got to talk to him about a bunch of archery, and came home. But so that I wanted to do that to give myself a little credibility, so it's not just
Right.
some guy in his shop working on bows. But it was a great experience. I would recommend that a lot for even if you're just interested in how to work on a bow.
Yeah.
It's a great course.
Yeah. I've done the old YouTube
Yeah.
stuff, but I'm not, I've piddled with cars, and I'm, a bit of a car person myself, and I'm saying that to say that I'm not afraid to dive into it. I don't
Yeah.
look at the bow and be like, oh man, I don't know. I don't, I'm just going to dive in, and if I screw it up, then, there's a fix,
Yeah.
generally. So
Generally, there's like to your point. Generally, if you do screw something up, you can fix it.
Yeah.
I mean, for the most part. Cracked riser, maybe not.
yeah, that's a little different.
But I 1 year at TAC a couple years ago when it was in Georgia, it was raining like crazy. It was some pretty steep hills, and the guys I was with, we were kind of trading off who was pulling arrows.
Right.
And so I told him I got it, and I went down the hill and pulled a bunch of arrows. So I was basically kind of side hilling, but going up this steep terrain. I had arrows in my right hand and bow in my left, and uphill was on my left side. And I was like, man, I need to switch hands because if I fall, I'm falling on this bow. And I was like, well, let me get to this tree right here, and I'll regroup because it's so steep. And of course, 2 steps later, bam,
Oh no.
fall and bust my limbs. And so I think that was kind of the onus that made me invest in my press.
Yeah.
And so I went and ordered some limbs, and man, changing out limbs for the first time, I was so nervous, even on my own bow. I didn't want to mess anything up. But to your point, if you dive in and give it a shot, bow tuned even better after with the new limbs. So,
Especially having, and I'm only saying from my experience, having that old Matthews, because I'd bought other bows, kind of always wanted to step up, and as technology changed, we went to split limbs, at some point, and having that older bow to sit and say, well, let me do this on the old bow, even though they're a little different,
Try it out.
give you the confidence, say, well, if I can do it here, because if you screw that one up, well, it's not like your bow, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Your newest one. So that would give me the confidence to kind of go in and do it. But no, I'm not afraid to do any of it. And I'm not a bow technician. I just do, can do enough. I can't restring or anything like that, but I've done center serving, stuff like that. That's probably the most advanced. I've changed limbs,
Well, that was before I took that training course. I mean, I'll give a shout out to John Dudley. He does a great job putting videos out there and just knowledge base on how to do some of that stuff. So my first time redoing a center serving, I was just watching a John Dudley video.
Yeah, I probably watched the same one.
Yeah, and it turned out great. So
speaking of John, did you get to see him at TAC?
I did. I went to his booth and actually got to thank him for that reason, for giving, keep putting knowledge out there to give me the confidence to start my own shop. And he was like, man, that's great. He's like, that's how I started, started in my own shop, and things just kind of built from there.
Yeah.
And then he had his knock-on after party on Saturday evening, so I got to hang out, and he was doing a bunch of raffle prizes and stuff like that. So no, it was good. It was a good time.
Okay. Yeah, that would be neat just to see, just to get up there. I've heard I listened to one of the last podcasts. They have a TAC podcast, I guess, now.
Yep.
And have been listening to some of that. And, they give information about stuff, but just knowing what's going on like that night, the different parties and the festivities that they're running, it's just, they say that the atmosphere has changed from kind of when they originally started to what it is now. It's kind of evolved. And I've heard Dudley, mention on his podcast that, he kind of hangs out more close to the, I don't know what you call it.
Vendor village.
Vendor village. Yeah. And just hang out and see people and visit and kind of give back to his community with people.
So I don't know if he does it at every TAC. The Michigan one has been pretty unique because at the corner of the vendor village, he had his booth set up.
Right.
But it was also set up to be the last shot of the knock-on course.
Oh.
So for, you take the ski lift up and you kind of work your way down.
Right.
And you hike around, and your last shot would be, I want to say it was 113 yards on the Sasquatch uphill or something with a crosswind, And I think the first time I did it, I had that 65-pound bow, I think. And so it was a slower arrow. It was pretty heavy arrow. My trajectory was pretty steep, and so I had to really account for that crosswind. And I think I put one like in its shoulder or something like that. But he would shoot it with you, or if he saw somebody, he would help coach them.
Yeah.
Like if they only had like a 60-yard pin, he would help coach them and to get them to actually hit the target.
Yeah.
So it's really cool to watch him interact with everybody that came by, free coaching, and just have everybody excited about the shot. Yeah. And I was waiting on my wife and my kids to come back around, and I went to just go watch, because you could just go stand there.
Right.
And he pulled out a bush light and said, "Who's over 21?" I am. He was like, "All right, who wants to? I'll put an arrow in this target. Whoever shoots closest to my arrow wins the bush light." And so I was like, "Well, I'll give it a shot." So I walked up, and I think I had to aim so far left I was off the target because of the crosswind.
Really?
Yeah, and I think I aimed over the shoulder, but I put it about an inch from his arrow.
Oh, no way.
And so I got to go hike up with him and take a picture with him next to the Sasquatch. It was pretty fun.
That in itself is pretty neat. I know that, speaking on that is like, even for us who shoot ASAs, you watch some of these tournament people, the pros, Levi, Morgan, and Dan, and some of them. And then you go to the events and you see them and you like, because you build them up to be bigger really than who they are. But it's neat to be able to see them and interact with them. And I think with TAC, it's like that, I come up doing, watching John Dudley and learning, when me and Joey kind of got back into seriously shooting. Yeah. We followed him a lot, Griv and some of them, MFJJ, some. And so you learn to start watching some of these other shooters. And it's neat that they're there.
Oh, yeah.
And you can interact with them.
Go ask him a question. He might be busy, you might have to circle back or something, but
right.
He'll be available at some point to talk to you.
Yeah. That's neat, man. All right. So talking more about going back in your shop. So what do you, I know so you're a dealer for Elite, is that right?
Yep.
Elite bows.
and ultra arrows. And I have a distributor as well set up for
Yeah.
pretty much anything else that you could want.
Okay.
Was able to go to ATA trade show this year and get set up to start ordering more direct. But I'm just slowly going to do that as I go.
Yeah.
Slowly building up inventory because inventory costs money.
Right.
But have more and more stuff on site. I'm going to be putting a plan together for hunting season this year.
Yeah.
So I can plan out my inventory and try to have more stuff in stock for people because it was an immediate need in this area.
Right.
We have some other great bow shops in the area, but in our corner of Birmingham, you end up having to drive 45 minutes to an hour maybe, depending on traffic, just to get there. And then, if you wait till later in the season or later in the year, closer to the season, you might have to wait 3 weeks or something.
Right.
So not long after opening the shop and getting some of the word out, I would have, it's going to sound low, but 5 or 6 people at my shop, at one time. And when you just to open a business and immediately have a need like that was pretty unique. So it's still a little slow. We're still building up a customer base, but
Right.
I hope to keep growing the business for sure.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. And I like, that's just my opinion. Of course, I work in Birmingham, so I'm around the hustle and bustle of traffic. And, the last thing I want to do is try to find a bow shop, in traffic and have to deal with it, So I like being able to come out. Plus, having all this room to be able to shoot and do things, associated with the shop. And, I want to try the Veros. He's got the Veros in.
Oh, yeah.
21 to 26.
The bow
Bow of the year.
of the year, outdoor life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but just to be able to come out and shoot it, just, give it its due and see what it's like, and having the availability to be able to do that, I think is really neat.
Oh, yeah.
So, and it's quiet out here, so I think it's a neat setup.
Yeah. I
for
want
what
to have
you
a
right
retail
now.
space at some point, but I've got
Right.
six, I think 3D targets out there. And then I've got some big targets I bought from Big Shot this year that I'll have set up for paper tuning and stuff. Or if you just want to, if you want to take the Veros and, try it out,
Right.
see what it feels like. That way you can just shoot at the big target and not worry about it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to leave here, but,
So storefronts where you ultimately want to get to at some point.
I think for the customer, it would make sense.
I got it.
But because we live back in the woods a little bit, some people call me, "Where am I? How do I get there?" But no, the response has been pretty good so far. I'm not a marketing person. I'm an engineer, and so
Right.
my wife gets on to me. I haven't had social media in like 15 years, and so I had to restart my Facebook and stuff like that with the shop. And she's on me all the time to post, and
Yeah.
I don't take the time to do it. But she's right that I need to post and need to work on getting the word out there. Cause
Yeah. And I struggle with that, even, shooting and stuff, shooting my wife. And she's like, did you take some pictures? I'm like, no, I didn't get the pictures. I'm sorry. I get so dialed in to what I'm doing. But
we'll go somewhere, and when we leave, I have like one picture.
Yeah.
She's like, "Did you take any?"
I did that too. I was like, I got one picture. I took your picture, to satisfy her. But no, I get it. Social media today is so different, than even how I grew up and how it moves, things now.
It's crazy.
It is. So,
And we had last company I worked for, we had people dedicated to social media, and I understood that it was necessary. I didn't understand how necessary until I started BowTruck, and how much time it takes to really put out good content and constant content on social media.
it's tough.
It's impressive.
Where it is for me.
Yeah, me too.
So you're mechanical minded. Have you thought about, has there been anything as far as wanting to develop anything product wise?
I mean, I have ideas all the time.
Yeah.
Doing it.
And I don't know what that process is, thinking it in your head and getting it to a piece of.
Getting a thought into prototypes and getting it all the way to market, even if you're already working at a outdoor industry company, takes a while, and especially operating on an annual new product development cycle like they all do, especially in the archery industry. There's a new bow every year, and trying to come up with something groundbreaking every year and have it fully tested and vetted to release it in time. It takes a lot of work and a team of people. So
Yeah.
I have some ideas every once in a while that I need to pursue, but
Right.
having done it in the outdoor industry, I know it takes so much work, and I have not put the work into pursuing them. But I do need to take some time and try to vet some of those ideas.
Okay. Well, it's just a thought. I just,
Yeah.
you said mechanical, and I thought of the what's the UV guy,
Colby.
Kobe. Yeah,
Kobe. That's
he was more, kind of mechanical minded, so that's why I thought about that. But,
Yeah, and they've done a great job, and especially keeping manufacturing in the U.S. too.
yeah, absolutely. So, all right, but man, this has been cool. This is really neat. So is there any other things you want to talk about as far as shop related stuff? I know we've talked about arrows and bows and some stuff. In fact, I just bought. You talked about your product. I bought the katana.
Yeah, the
100 grams.
Annihilator
Yeah,
broadheads.
broadheads. Those look really cool.
So they've done an awesome job coming out with new ideas and new products.
Yeah.
And the katana is one of their ideas too. It's a two blade broadhead, but it has two kicker blades on both sides. So it's really like a 4-blade.
Right.
It's razor sharp. The blood trail is amazing, and the steel they use is unmatched. I think.
And it's all one piece. Right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep. It's all machined out on one piece, and I'm a big fan of their originals. They're super easy to sharpen, and it's the same steel. And if you ever see an Annihilator at any of the shows, they'll have a car hood at their booth that you can actually shoot through.
Oh, wow.
And there's, I don't know how many, a couple hundred holes in this car hood, all from a single broadhead, and they just resharpen it and
Keep going.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what's kind of piqued my interest as far as the broadheads is to be able to just keep resharpening and going, versus the changing out. Because coming from the muzzies, just changing out the blades, and I'm trying to come away from the vented blades, more on a solid piece.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm a short draw. I need all the energy I can get when I hit, hit the deer. So that's kind of piqued my interest. But yeah, those are, when you said something about those are really neat. So,
and I've known several guys that went to Africa and used them, and were able to harvest all sorts of animals, large animals in Africa with the same broadheads.
Right.
So it's like it's gotta do well on a whitetail, doesn't it? And I've had a lot of luck with them. Everything that I've shot with them, max has run 50 to 60 yards maybe.
yeah,
And shot placement's still important for obvious reasons, but
absolutely.
they do a fantastic job.
All right. Well, I can't wait, man. I know we still got a ways, but I'm getting ready for this bow season.
But yeah, as far as the shop, I'm full service. We can restring bows, tune anything. Sourcing bows right now, I can get elite and bear archery bows, and then any other parts I can order. Like I said, building up inventory more and more as we go.
So if I bring you a cracked limb,
Yep.
get me a limb or
Yep.
dry
So
fire
like
camp.
I've got a couple bows. One of mine is an original Matthews lift,
Yeah.
which I've been shooting for a couple years. I really like that bow too. And I was at full draw actually right out here one day and heard it crack. And I ordered limbs. I got limbs sitting over there to get replaced. I had a customer that brought in a Darton that had some cracked limbs, and I've replaced those for him. I mean, I actually have restrung several Matthews switchbacks and Matthews bows from like the 2005, 2007 this year. You got some guys that come in like, man, I really like my bow.
Yeah.
Like, I respect that. If you're comfortable with it, that's what you like.
That's a hard decision.
Yeah.
Going to the next whatever, especially coming out of what you're used to. I get it. So.
But yeah, so full service, all your archery needs, BowTruck can help you out.
Okay. All right. Well, good deal, man. I've enjoyed it. And thanks again for the interview.
Thanks, Craig. Thank you.
Yeah. All right,
Thank
man.
you, Scooby. You gonna say him bye? You gonna tell him bye?
Bye, Scooby.